Hey everybody, how are you guys doing today? AMC Bigums here. I hope everybody is having a great week. If you're not, hopefully this video brightens it up a little bit. But you guys, I am very excited. I am super excited to get into this video and get into this content. Nothing but good stuff going forward, you guys. Nothing but good things. I am jacked as hell. This is super good stuff. So, without further ado, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a nerd behind a computer. Nothing more, man. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is all for educational purpose only, and this is just off my opinion on what I read from websites and SEC filings and things of that nature. So back into the information here. This video today, I'm going to talk about the new CAT system that's actually taken place. It started on September 1st officially. What we used to run on is what was called the OAT system. This was the biggest piece of shit in the entire history of life. This thing was garbage, and it allowed them to legally do a lot of fuckery. And I'll get into that here shortly. But let me read off this quote here for 1 second here. Gary Gensler, their technology has outdated the SEC. Now, let's get into what he means by that. Basically, what he's talking about is their ability with high frequency trading. Basically, they have speeds that are unbelievable. They have dark fibers. They now have dishes. They're able to use dark pools. They can use rerouting tactics over and over to basically make it so the SEC cannot currently keep up with anything on the current system. It's so outdated and trash. I mean, you guys think about this. They don't even have a time and a date stamp on these trades. Like that should be 101 type thing. Like think about that. This OAT system was so flawed in the reporting aspect, it was ridiculous. They had a gray area and a gray area and a gray area for every single way to delay some kind of aspect of reporting. I don't want to get too super into that because I could talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and this video is going to be long enough anyways. So let's get back into the OATs thing. So one of the main problems with the OATS system is it had certain exclusions for dark pools. It had exclusions for certain market maker abilities. The CAT system will get rid of that. And what I mean by those exclusions is if you look up electronic market maker dark pools, if you look up banking type dark pools, they had exclusions on how they had to report information. And most of those had price as discovery. So a lot of the times they didn't know what was going on in those dark pools. It was a lot of gray area, and they were trading back and forth with each other in there. And this new CAT system will stop it. This new CAT system, you guys, is how this stock market should have been implemented in the first place. Like I cannot believe how just how crappy the OAT system honestly is. It's crazy. But back to the OAT system. One of the main things that they were able to do is if you were a market maker on one of the exclusions is you were able to legally not report trade information. You could mark yourself as a bona fide market maker and mark it as market maker exempt. This was legal under the OAT system. Now, one of the things they did to take advantage of this is they opened up what are called ISDA agreements. These are agreements done between two ISDA members. They are done off exchange. They do not report to SIBA. They do not report to the CCO because they are backed by the two parties clearing the trade. They attach what is called a credit support annex, and basically all that is it shows that the buyer has collateral at the time to support the trade, but they do not deposit that said collateral. Now, this new CAT system will actually put an end to all of this. What they would do with these ISDA agreements is they would take out what are called flex options, married puts, and conversion trades. The conversion trade would attach zero risk to the trade. The married puts are also known as synthetic longs, and the flex options they would use the shares attached to give the appearance of closing out FTDs and to give the appearance of closing out failure to delivers or resetting them if they were on the reg show list. And what they would do is basically if you were a bank, you would go up to a market maker, or the market maker, if they needed shares, would go to the bank. They would say, I need you to say you send me these shares. The market maker would say, all right, you need to say you received them, but the bank would never send them in the first place, and the market maker would never receive them. They would give the appearance they did. They would use the shares to close out the short. They would use the share to roll out the FTD. And then once the contract would expire, it would basically cancel out each other's books and basically offset. And since the shares were never sent in the first place, on both computers, basically everything cleared out and everything looked normal. Um, this will be completely stopped with this new CAT system. This new CAT system deletes all exclusions. This is called venue exclusions as well as market maker exclusions, which that is huge, you guys. That is massive. I mean, ISDA basically is now being watched and tracked, and they now have for the first time ever. And on top of that, they now have margin requirements. And if you guys don't understand how big of a deal that is, like I said, go back and watch mine and Randall Cornett's video. You will learn a ton about it. It was a massive deal what they're able to do with that. On top of that, with the dark pools and the rerouting, they were able to do so many things to where, like I said, they just didn't have to report them, or they would take so long to report it that they could basically reuse those shares over and over and over again, creating synthetics. Um, Now, let's go into a little bit into the CAT system as well. Another thing that the CAT system is actually going to change is the error reporting window. It will no longer be T plus 5. It is now going to be T plus 3. This is huge for the small amount of naked shorts that I could see coming into the new system being handwritten. This should make him, like I said, this will give us a lot more information quicker. And obviously in the stock market, time is everything. So that's a huge thing, you guys. On top of that, what is going on is the best part about all this, I would say, is going to be the tracking aspect. Now, once a trade starts, it's going to get a stamp. This stamp will have information on it, and it's going to now report to a central repository system. The stamp is going to include information as the date, the time. Jesus, go figure. Why wasn't that, like I said, why wasn't that the first thing ever installed? The company, basically the owner name, the receiver name. Let's see here. It's going to have, if there was any modifications done to the order, a cancellation done to the order, and it's going to have the route that it's going to take attached to it as well. Or if there was any rerouting or anything like that. Sorry about that. So that will be initially stamped. That will be sent to the central repository system. And the SEC is going to basically be the only ones that have information to that system. And I'll explain why in a second. And it's not a bad thing. So on top of that, one of the biggest things that's going to happen with this tracking, and this is huge, everyone. This is massive. This is going to cut out so much fuckery. It's literally insane. What's going to happen now is there's going to be 3 moments during the life cycle of a trade now. It's going to send bursts of information throughout the cycle of the trade instead of just at the end and the beginning of the trade. There's now a middle, and that middle is everything. So the first burst of information is going to come with the price of the order, the execution of the order, time, date. If it's an institution, it will have what is called the Trader Pro ID, and it will have the address. It will have the business address, their EIN number if they're a business, and all this information will be attached or bursted out instantly to that repository system. Now, it's going to go to a venue, and on the second it goes to a venue, that second burst that I was talking about is now going to be sent to said system. Now what is going to be attached will be the price again and a venue ID. So if it's going through a dark pool, it will know the price on every dark pool, including electronic market maker and including banking. So that's huge, you guys. There's no more price of discovery. Like, that shit's gone. That is gone. And basically now the rerouting stuff that I was talking about, that's gone because it's now going to track the modifications, it's now tracking the routing process, and it is now tracking the venue IDs from from the second burst, and it's also attached on the third burst. So it now knows if you switched it again to another venue. So rerouting will now be basically impossible. Creating synthetic shares will basically be impossible. Rolling over FTDs like they've been doing and giving sham appearance closeouts should be impossible. And another thing that we learned that they like to do is they like to take their business clock and they like to set it seconds behind the institution of standards, basically. And what that allows them to do is trade for seconds in the after hours. And as I went over earlier with the dishes and with the the dark fibers, seconds out for these fucking guys, dude. They could do millions of trades, bullshit type crap. And on top of that, what they do is they're able to, since it's technically still in that day, they use the previous date for the T+2 fill time. Well, this gets rid of that ability because what the new standard's going to be is they have to have their clock within 50 milliseconds of the standard of institution of standards. So now they're all, since they're corrupt as fuck, going to have the same business clock because they're going to take the 50 seconds that they can because why wouldn't they? But basically what that's going to do is drastically cut down. Drastically. You're talking 3 to 4 seconds to 50 milliseconds. That's a massive deal, people, in high frequency trading. So basically, like I said, guys, FTDs are going to have to be starting to be covered. You're going to see less and less synthetics being made. And as you can already saw in August, those FTDs are starting to pop, 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 pop. Well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to start pop, 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 pop. And if we, as long as we keep buying, like I said, they're on borrowed time, everyone. They're on very borrowed time. We got all the time in the world. So this cat system is a major deal. I just can't even explain to you guys how insane this is going to be. And I want everyone to realize one thing here too before I go. I just want to, I think since 010 got pushed back, I think that this cat system came into play and they started tracking everything. And since it was one day after, and I think they finally were like, holy shit, we can finally see how fucked up this stuff is. Like, truly see how fucked up this stuff is. So they pushed that back because they're going to need more time than probably initially anticipated for them to get this shit figured out. You guys, like I said, this OTC market and derivatives chain it's in the hundreds of trillions, you guys. It's so fucked up. It's so messed up. They've been, like I said, untracked, you guys, for I don't even know how long. And then on top of that, like I was saying before, you have the central bank regime who have their own dark pool. They have their own, they're a market maker. On top of that, they're DTC members. So when they find people, they're basically just giving it to them fucking selves. I mean, the old system was completely broken, and this new cat system, you guys, is going to fix a lot of things that we want to fix. But like I was just saying, though, give it some time, even after this starts, for them to start making some changes, because they just now probably saw how fucked this truly is. But I got a whole bunch more videos coming out, you guys. Next video I'm going to do is going to go over things I see happening for AMC now with all these changes. Because, like I was saying before, you guys, we have margin calls across the board. You got margins on the ISDA market. Like I said, for the first time in history, we're tracking ISDA. That's awesome. You got higher margins in the stock, and now you have higher margins on the OTC chain. So you guys, like I said, nothing but good stuff going forward. Now we got the ability to track everything. Next thing they're going to work on is fines and punishment. And trust me, the government wants this current regime out as much as we do, and there's another power coming in soon, and I'll go over that in a new video, but I have a pretty damn good idea who's about to be taking over. But I'll leave you guys with that. Hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Hopefully you guys are excited now about this CAT system, and like I said, this should correct a lot of things that are slowing us down and are fucking with the market. FTDs shouldn't be as big of a deal. Naked shouldn't be as big of a deal. Transparency and being accountability more than anything. Accountability should now be able to be taken. So I hope you guys all had a good night. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you did. Give it a like. Thank you and have a good night, guys.